Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Greg was.
All the settings seem to have changed for the audio, and I don't know why.
Hmm.
They said an
Does
update.
I didn't? I don't even think the thing updated.
Mm.
So that was a nice initial stream. Hi everybody. We're here again. We're probably
The
gonna talk
audio.
about stuff.
Yeah, the audio seems to work now,
The
so
audio
that's
works now.
something.
That's good. Um,
Or
always something. There's always something.
I heard a small amount of audio before I muted it, so I didn't
Okay.
have to listen to our voices.
Yeah. Reverberate around a bunch. Hey Dave. Nice to have you here. So I guess I can repeat some of the stuff that I'd said earlier. We can move into the hobby happenings section of the stream. I haven't done a whole lot this week. I've been working on a bunch of projects. I've done some more work on that Bloodthirster model, mainly sculpting work. But the main thing is I've been doing some work on some Dark Elf Blood Bowl players.
Blood Bowl, hooray!
Yeah, I've started to try and play around with modifying their helmets a little, but I still have a bunch of work to do with that. The models themselves, they're really nice. Some of the assembly how you assemble the models is pretty weird. Like you can sort of tell from this model here how you attach the different parts of the legs. There are these huge seams and the surfaces that contact together, particularly if you use like a plastic glue, none of the pieces really lock into place very well, such that there's a lot of play and wiggle room. So like you could pretty easily glue together the model and do it really poorly. And then even if you glue it together correctly, just the cuts where the seams and stuff are look really bad. So
Mm,
um I feel you almost have to go in and do some sculpting to fix that, which you can kind of see that with these pictures. I've done that with two models so far. Not all of them are as bad as, say, these two, like the Blitzer model. The Blitzer model's better, but that's just based on where they put the cuts. Like most of
hmm
the players, they have the cuts on their legs right up around like either through like the butt or beside it, and it looks bad because they have like form-fitting pants, and when that's broken with a seam, it just doesn't look good. Apparently YouTube has no comments or audio now. That's good.
I just turned on the audio, and it seemed to me I still hear the audio
In YouTube?
in YouTube
Huh.
or
Wow,
on YouTube,
that's
and the
weird.
comments are showing on the screen to
Oh.
me.
Hey, Greg's here.
Hey
Greg's
Greg.
here.
Yeah.
You didn't really miss anything, Greg. We started the stream, but there was no audio for a long time because something somehow changed in Streamlabs, and it wasn't. It's not really clear
YouTube.
what.
YouTube has sound for me.
Yeah, it had sound for me too. Yes, I don't know. I don't know, but yes, there were issues for reasons.
And there still might be,
Yeah, hopefully.
but maybe not.
Maybe not. Interestingly, like I feel at one point the when we had this set up, when the YouTube comments used to also show up um on the screen, like the little chat box, but that doesn't happen anymore for some reason.
Oh.
You have to be on YouTube to see the YouTube comments. So yeah, I don't know how that happened, or but yeah, it doesn't work right.
Okay, and yeah, so Twitch is forcing people to watch the stupid ads and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they need to make their money somehow,
Yeah, I suppose.
but
Because we sure don't make any money.
So I have a question about Twitch. Like, I feel like when I started, I have Prime, so I did the free Prime membership for this channel. And do you have to keep redoing it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it expires every month.
With Prime, you do. Like, if you yourself are physically paying for a subscription, I think it is automatically set that you will continue to renew them, but it's not true if you're using Twitch Prime.
And now I'm trying to start your free Prime. It doesn't work. But get monthly games and in-game loot with a monthly Twitch channel. Like, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
You sure you don't care about that loot?
Yes. Well, let's see what loot. I can get League of Legends 3rd skin shard.
Brad, you might like
cool.
stuff like that.
I haven't played League of Legends in a long time.
I don't think
How
I
long
ever
is
played
that?
it.
Yeah, long time. Probably like, well, there's a time I reinstalled it and then regretted it. But before that, it was a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever it's worth, Greg, like I scrolled down and it's got the subscribe free button for me with my Prime account. So I don't know.
There's a chance sometimes, like, it just doesn't recognize that you're like logged in or so. It's a pain, but whatever. So that's what I've been working on: a Bloodthirster and some Blood Bowl models. They're going okay. But yeah, if anyone you out there are wanting to put together like the Dark Elf team or work on the Dark Elves, you're probably going to have to do some sculpting to make the seams not look objectionable.
I think the Skaven team might have a similar problem too.
Okay.
Maybe it might be something that's kind of like the specialist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe.
Special
So, like,
team models.
actually, I have the. Let's actually go to. I have the Wood Elf team here.
To the hobby cam? Are we going to the hobby cam?
Yeah, we're going to the hobby camera. Let's look at the Wood Elf team.
This is what I live for.
And we can look at the instructions too. That's often okay. The Wood Elf team looks like it's better. Like most of the things, so like this model here.
Well, you should have selected that team then.
Yeah, I should have. You only glue
No, they
on
got
like you glue on the one boot, and that boot looks, it's fine. This set of legs is just together. Maybe okay, so the lineman 3 might be bad. Let's try and find it. 18 and 19.
Can you do it?
18 and 19. Oh, 18, 19. Maybe. I still think that it wouldn't be. It won't be quite as bad. Like here you can see. So the main seam would be between the ass crack. And that might be less noticeable. And it also looks like the surface that you glue it together with, it's maybe it'll actually be pretty, you won't have a lot of play in how you attach it. But yeah, if you look at like most of them, they're wearing these like skin tight body gloves and stuff. Like most of that is just a single piece, which is much better. Whereas if we look at the dark elf ones, like they, particularly I guess the ones that I've worked on assembling, They're just not great. And yeah, you really need to.
At least you don't have to glue two halves to their head together, or maybe you do. Probably not.
Not for the dark elf ones, and I don't think for the wood elf ones either. So yeah, I don't know. They're weird. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I've been working on. Eric, what have you been up to?
I've been long talking about painting the Arvis lighter, and I've actually started to do that. It's primarily just been airbrushing stuff, but I used some chipping media to try to add some like light chipping on just different colors of gray.
Actually, just a
Such
minute.
that-
Just a minute. Dave Dave just asked if we were sure that the they were wearing pants, the wood elves. And you could make arguments either way, but I think based on how they were painted, and if you look at, there are some like creases and stuff on their legs, they're all wearing pants.
Yeah, but look at the one war dancer. Go back to the one.
The one
He
isn't.
doesn't have pants.
The one doesn't have pants.
Although it looks like the same
Yeah,
model.
so-
one of the times
So one they
with
painted pants, the other they didn't. But like a lot of the other ones, like say this one that I'm pointing at, there are some like creases and stuff up by his thighs and shit. So like
But-
most of them were
So
made
for
to
running
look
war
like...
dancer, the choice is yours.
Yeah, for that one the choice is yours. But most of them, they're wearing like a body glove type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you could do a
what
bunch
you want.
to,
They're your models.
yeah.
They're your exciting models, Adam. But yeah, so I've been trying to paint this, and I have done a little, like I did some of that light chipping stuff. I used some Tamiya tape to tape off so the bottom is like a lighter color. And then I also did a little bit with these Tamiya model mastering little things. It's almost
Pigments?
like this, yeah, with just like little makeup mascara pads or something. I used them to add some like soot like stuff around some of the rotors and add some kind of brown to stuff that I kind of blended around, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I think it looks okay. I mean, I'll probably seal that and then go and do some oil stuff, and but I need to paint the other metal in and all that stuff. But like it's coming along, and
Block in all the other colors. Yeah.
which admittedly I don't know how many other colors are going to be on it. But so I mean it's been going pretty well. Like I did some like brush chipping as well with like a darker gray along some of the edges and stuff, which
Mm-hmm.
probably not that easy to see from these pictures, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, ultimately, I guess I'm just glad that I'm doing it and I've got at least gotten to this stage in which I will continue to like keep painting stuff. So like yeah, I think it's
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
but so
I'm hoping you'll be finished with it next week, Eric.
yeah, maybe that seems a little fast for my slow general lack of working, but we'll see.
No, I understand that. I understand that completely.
You'll be too busy watching the previews on Saturday. You won't get any work done.
There are previews on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know about them either, Greg.
How could anyone know about that?
The Warhammer community page. Have you started checking it?
No.
I certainly haven't. I think the last time I checked it was last stream.
Well, that was
So-
only a week ago.
Yes, it was only a week ago, so.
I'm going to it.
Well, we can go there soon, I suppose.
I
but-
don't see it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what you've been up to, Eric. That's good. You're making some
Yeah.
progress. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. Brad, you're working on stuff, right?
Yeah. Does
I
Does
brought
Eric
up
wanna
one of
field
the
that
pictures you
question?
sent me a while ago, a little, or maybe it was earlier today. You're working on your like little chaos spawns, right?
yeah,
Or-
still working on them. Got a
Or
light box so the
possessed.
pictures look a little better.
those do look better, Brad.
Yeah,
Oh, come on, we're
and
having-
now they're gone. Threw 'em
yeah,
in
That's
the trash.
because the Streamlabs.
Yeah,
yeah, it's back.
Wonderful free software.
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite finished. Like you can see there's gaps that like I'll pretend like I'll fill in at some point.
Don't pretend. Do it.
Well, it's hard, Greg. The
Yeah,
slave
those are some
ogrins are
serious
coming out.
gaps.
I shouldn't talk. I do nothing.
The slave ogrins are coming out, and I want to start working on them. I'm
Okay.
more
yeah.
excited about them. So, but
Yeah.
and I think there's some little bits I want to add on to it. Maybe a big eye somewhere on him, and maybe a tentacle or two, and that should wrap him up with fixing that one arm with some green stuff. That definitely needs to happen. But I'm
I
a little
think he looks
disappointed.
good.
I feel like he's leaning too far, like down. Like I wish I would have positioned the head to be
Put him-
looking up a little bit more.
Put
I
him
mean,
up on a rock.
Yeah, I mean, you could slightly modify that with the base, right? Is he glued to the base?
He's glued, and I wish I would have like not have glued the head on first. I feel like that was a bit of a rookie mistake.
Yeah.
And
Well, if you put him on a bigger base and have like a snotling on it in front of him.
I think it would be better if he was standing on the helmet of a space marine.
yeah,
That would
but
be cool.
but yeah, so I feel like had I like looked at the positioning before I'd gone all willy nilly,
Mhm.
I think it would have turned out a little bit better. But yeah,
Well.
started the second one, so
Actually,
see
yeah,
how that goes.
meandering shade, you mentioned about the Arvis lighter, like I mean, like any older Forge World kits that were designed before like digital sculpting was a thing, or just that have old molds, they don't fit together
They're
well.
bad.
Like,
Yeah, they're
it
not
wasn't
good.
terrible.
Well, I mean, if
But-
you want to be able to see the internals of the lighter,
Then it's terrible. Like you
It's
can't really
bad.
do. Or if you care that there's a huge fissure going down the center that you can't get at or fill in with some putty.
bless you. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's rough. I mean, there's a chance the cast you have is better than the one we had, but I feel that's probably doubtable.
And like you probably, and the pieces of resin are so thick that the main halves, like you couldn't even use a heat gun really to easily modify it. So you have to do modeling putty stuff. And I mean, since it's such like looks like a battered little craft to begin with, some of it maybe doesn't matter that much, but it's Forge World. Forge World is inherently not nice. Like it's rarely well
Yeah.
cast. There are bubbles. It doesn't fit together. There are mold shifts. Like that's
Mold
just what
ships
you
are
get with Forge
everyone's
World.
friend.
That's just what you get with Forge World. So, and yeah, the molds are so old.
Yeah.
But like you can certainly do it, and like I think what I put together, like it looks nice enough. And if you paint it and whatever, it'll look nice. But
I mean, yeah, I feel with most Forge World models, if you just brute force your way through it and glue it together, unless you're looking really closely, you probably won't see all of the mold shifts and all that other stuff.
Yeah, because
Um,
most of the designs, at least for their vehicles and stuff, are cool, such that yeah, you won't notice it unless you're really looking for it, and then you'll see it, all the things.
everywhere. Yeah. Well, yeah,
But
so
yeah,
it sucks. So Brad, yeah, I like your little spawn crypt horror creations. I think, I mean, so with the, like you were saying, like the head looking down a little, I mean,
Mhm.
maybe you don't want to do a lot of sculpting, but if you kind of sculpt more of a smooth transition where like the top of its head is into like
Yeah,
its neck, you might be able to make it look less like he's looking towards the ground.
yeah.
Um, and you probably use plastic glue. Because if you
No,
didn't, you could probably just break it off.
no. I used the cement.
Oh, the thin cement?
Yeah.
Oh, that's plastic glue. That melts the shit out of it.
Shit. My bad.
Yeah.
I mean, but since
You
the
still might
stuff's
be able to
thin,
break
you
it
probably
out
could still do it.
if
I
you're
mean, I
really
haven't-
upset with it.
I haven't found a model I couldn't break. So
I hear that. So yeah, I think there are a bunch of things that could be done. It certainly looks a lot more fierce than like the official chaos spawns, if you will.
yeah.
I think, well, actually, let me see if I can find it.
I had that comparison picture.
Yeah, I just
too,
brought up your
because I had a hard
comparison
time
picture.
finding any on the internet. So I felt like
Hmm.
somebody
Yeah.
should do it.
like the, oh my god, yeah, the chaos spawns maybe even worse than I thought it was.
It's because how I put it together.
No, I don't even think that's it. To me, it really looks like I sculpted it. Like, and it's just like I got a slab of putty, pushed the putty around a little into like a general blobby shape, and then put holes at various parts where you could put a random assortments of stupid looking mutations.
Yeah, it sounds about like the kit.
That's chaos. I love
Yeah,
chaos.
it's weak. Like the newer one you're working on is much fiercer looking.
Yeah. And you get 3 to a box instead of 2. So it's like just better.
I mean, it's even
Assuming-
weird. Like the this spawn, like you've assembled it with like the feeler tendrils or whatever, like little tentacles, and they're all like club ended, like, which I think is kind of interesting. I mean, not necessarily bad, but like,
Yeah. I guess I could have done like some of the spiky ones instead,
mhm.
but I guess I went
I
for a
kind of
certain
like-
symmetry.
Yeah, I think you did a pretty good job there in that sense. Oh, thanks for this subscription, Bathaki.
Oh wow, people are using.
There's Haunter. I know Haunter. You need to shift so
Yeah, I do,
Haunter's up
don't
at the
I?
front.
Yeah, I
We
wanna
see that so infrequently that.
Alright, I think I shifted it. Streamlabs has not been our friend this evening. At least the auto's working now.
We think.
So Brett, have you, as the like official chaos spawns, have you assembled the other one, or do you have more of
Yeah.
the? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
no, I assembled both of them way back, maybe
Mhm.
4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How many do you think you want?
I feel ambitiously I'd want 10,
Oh God.
but the plan is to
Wheel this back, Brad. 3
Yeah.
would be an impressive number.
I want to get 5. I
Okay.
feel because ideally I feel like it'd be like 2 squads of 5. But like I'm not ever going to play 40k, so I don't
the
know.
spirit. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, so I think finishing these 3 from the crypt horrors, we'll bring it to 5, and that's a pretty solid number.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, I don't remember. In the armies, there used to be like war gear items and stuff that people would turn into chaos spawns and stuff, right? I almost think there was like a weapon or something that could turn enemy characters into chaos spawns. Was that true, or did I make that up?
I don't know. I'm pretty new to chaos.
I'm pretty sure there was something like that.
I know that well, there was that whole the one edition. You could get these boons, right? And one of them definitely turned you into a spawn.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter. All that was just pointing towards the notion, like maybe something, whatever armor you eventually want to play, you'll actually need a backlog of spawns to like pull in based on how the game goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's largely what we've been working on. Eric, you're the only one who's currently painting models.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll try and put decals and stuff on the lighter soon?
Yeah, I need to try to see if I have some that I could put on. Now's the time I should do it.
Yeah.
Now is the time.
And I guess also, have you decided how you want to paint the windshield?
My thought now is I'm going to try to paint them like a glossy black. But
yeah, that would work fine. Because I guess that's another thing with this lighter. Like, they give you a little thin sheet of clear, like, clear plastic that you have to cut to put in the little windshield area.
And it's all bent and shit that they don't fit in right, even when you cut them, such that it was like really hard to glue it in without getting super glue all over it. And that was part of why it's just glued on and I'm painting it.
Well, the pilot inside doesn't look great either. I don't think.
No.
Well, okay. So yeah, that's what we've been working on. I guess, do you have any updates, Greg? How are things going with you?
I haven't done anything. Not really. Last evening I watched the Russian film Sputnik. I don't know if any of you have heard anything about that.
Only from you, Greg.
It was to be released in theaters recently, but because of the ongoing pandemic, it was released in Russia digitally and was pretty popular there. And just this past Friday, some company in the United States acquired the rights for it. You can rent it and stream it. And it's been getting a bunch of pretty good reviews and favorable comparisons to the original Alien. It's about the kind of towards the end of the Soviet Union and some manned space missions that one of them comes back to Russian cosmonauts and, well, something else comes along with them. And it's pretty good. I feel it starts out really strong with some interesting ideas, pretty good characters, and towards the end, it kind of goes in predictable directions, which it won't spoil too much to say that the military wants this alien creature to be used as a weapon.
Yeah.
Which,
Okay.
So it's
going into it, I'm sure all of you would have suspected that would have been a twist. In, in
If you
the
want to call it that.
Yeah, or not a twist. What one would come to expect out of such a movie, and sure enough, it was there.
Mhm. Well, I'll have
But
to
so
watch
it's
it.
worth seeing, like particularly if you like kind of sci-fi horror films, and it doesn't lean too big on the horror. I wouldn't say. It also, fortunately, doesn't lean too big on cool action.
Okay. Yeah,
that's
that's good.
Maybe a little bit towards the end to its
Well, does it
detriment.
it
But
doesn't
it doesn't become
District
what's
9?
that? District 9. Yeah, District 9. I mean, I was sort of reminded of the film District 9 and that started out really interesting and then turned into a blockbuster Michael Bay explosion action fest.
Mm-hmm.
And this is somewhat similar, and it starts out super interesting, but then it doesn't turn into a big blockbuster shitfest. It just becomes more predictable, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
But still interesting. It was the first film directed by this particular director, so it's a pretty strong start for a feature film, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody watch it, support Russian directors. Who knew there was Russian sci-fi films aside from Tarkovsky's Solaris and Stalker? And those are old films.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
Well, I feel just in general the film industry is now so vast. Like,
Well, and I mean, guarantee there's tons of Russian films released every year that us in America just don't know anything about them.
yeah, it's true. Well, okay, so that's largely what we've been up to. So now I guess there are two things we can go into next. We either go back onto the Warhammer community page and see if there's stuff there, or we could go over to the hobby camera and unbox this sister Alos model. What do
I
people
live
want?
for unboxings.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess thanks, Bathaki, again for the subscription. Like, and yeah, we'll just put the money back towards making the channel better.
But that money, I think, only goes to us when we reach a certain
Oh, yeah.
queue
Yeah.
of money.
Yeah, you need to have
something.
earned at least $100 to get that money.
But do they
Every
then
month.
give you the $100?
They have not given, or
Or
we
but
have.
if we did reach that goal, do they just give it to you, or do they take some of it?
They probably take some of it.
I think it's once you reach $100, but then they take a portion of it. Like
Yeah.
as an affiliate, I think for a subscription we get half of the money.
Okay.
But I don't know if
Well, the first time we're awarded actual money, we should use it to buy something to then give off in a stream or something.
Yeah.
oh, Magic the Gathering subs. Well, that's fun.
So
like
I don't know,
feel
like, all I know is like I used to pay attention a lot to Magic, and I don't know, maybe Brad, do you still pay attention to Magic?
Yeah, a little bit, definitely.
I feel most of what I hear now about Magic is all the different controversies with the dumb things that they've done and how
actually, you
they-
got that cool Godzilla thing, right? You could show that card.
Show it on the stream.
Yeah, this is the latest Magic card that I got. I finally decided that I should try and buy some of the cool promo cards based on of the different Godzilla monsters. So
Fuck yeah, Shin Godzilla.
yeah, Shin Godzilla's awesome.
He's a dinosaur turtle.
Yeah, he's a dinosaur turtle.
Hell yeah.
He's cool.
Doom Inevitable. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's
Brad, have you
cool.
seen Shin Godzilla?
I don't think I have.
Whoa, boy, it's great. It's the most recent Japanese Godzilla film.
Oh, okay.
It's good. It's so
Now
good.
it's maybe 4 or 5 years old. It was actually directed by the guy who directed the anime series Evangelion and stuff.
Neon Genesis
Oh.
Evangelion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. One of the things that makes it great is that it kind of harkens back to the roots of Godzilla. Like the original Godzilla was kind of a commentary on nuclear weapons and nuclear weapons testing and their effect on Japan. And then after that, I feel most of the Godzilla films became, let's have Godzilla fight cool monsters and it'll be fun.
Yeah.
And this Shin Godzilla was again back towards commentary, though it was more commentary on Japan's botched response to the Fukushima nuclear disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So that was neat that it wasn't just let's have cool creatures fight
one of my favorite things about it is they would all, at different points in the film, the music would really kick in and get really intense and exciting, and every time that would happen, it would kick into the scenes with like the scientists or people at their computers like working and stuff. It was never with like the monster, like Godzilla destroying anything like that. No, it was like the exciting part was, shit, we're gearing and we're getting into work, let's figure this shit out. And that's when the music would kick in.
Yeah, and it was funny that a lot of the scenes towards the beginning were just Japanese bureaucrats and stuff, like sitting in the rooms arguing about stuff.
Like, we need to create a special task force for that.
And like accomplishing nothing, which was obviously a commentary on how it took them a long time to effectively
like do anything
about the Fukushima nuclear disaster. But anyway, it's great.
Yeah. As far as Magic, I bought some Double Masters packs. I regret it.
Yeah, I was going to say that was probably a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I've heard
about that.
With like in terms of the streamers and stuff with that, like they pumped Magic has put most of their prize money in their like Pro Tour. I don't remember what they call it, where they have a bunch of people streaming for them. And I think
it's the Mythic Championship.
Yeah, I've heard
series.
That's been kind of a disaster. But I haven't watched them. Okay, so
one thing I just realized when I got up to get a drink that I had my monitor speakers playing, and so that may have resulted in people hearing feedback. I don't know if people did hear feedback from.
I think I did actually a little, but it wasn't very bad. Okay, so Bathaki says it's a disaster, but it also doesn't matter at all. Yeah, so I had heard like they just took all the money that they were going to put in to like the tournaments and stuff and just sort of arbitrarily chose a whole bunch of people to be in it, but it wasn't really based on who were good Magic players, who were good streamers, any of that. So like I think most of them, while they're being paid a significant amount of money every year to stream, they like really don't, or if they do stream, it's like the most boring, uninteresting thing imaginable.
Yeah, and I think they tried to poach some like Hearthstone player. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, damn.
And it didn't turn out that well for him. Yeah.
Wait, they tried to poach a Hearthstone player?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I heard some of it was merit-based, but then they had to kick people out because certain players were caught apparently cheating, so then they had to get other people. Some players just quit in protest. So I think it's just been kind of a disaster.
Have to be upset about something during these troubling times, I suppose.
Yeah. But I mean, I will say, like, I was just when Magic Arena, I guess that's what it's called. is called came out, I was surprised that they finally actually made an online version of their game that was actually playable, because Magic Online was close to not playable in my opinion.
It had issues.
That's the key. A lot of Magic players have trouble respecting women. Like, oh.
No, I think that's true. That is yeah, I don't know. It's bad. If you watch YouTube videos about Magic, there's always a new issue. And they're banning
kinda like
cards
Warhammer.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic is for
Yeah.
everybody. I will say though, Magic the Gathering, I think they've done a great job, at least in terms of art direction. Like, the diversity in which they like present the different characters and stuff is just so much better. It's not just like in the past, like all the female planeswalkers and stuff were literally just really slender, voluptuous women. Like, literally, that is all it was. I mean, it was to the point where they'd have pictures of zombies with their, like, in corsets and stuff. It's like, what? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, terrible art direction. But it's like, it's so much better now. Like, the art in general is good. There's much more diversity in it. Like, the planeswalkers are all, like, it's much better. And I mean, that's something I know. I hear lots of people online complaining about it, like, where are all the beautiful women now? It's like, shut up.
I do kind of miss a little bit. I feel like you said like art, like I kind of miss like instead of this like computer aided sort of like art. I kind of miss a lot of the old.
Well, I mean, some of the people they hire to do the art still, like, actually paint it.
Yeah.
But not ever. Like, the new Force of Will, for instance, Scott M. Fisher, I always really liked his art. That's all painted. So, I mean, some do, but it's, I think, the choice of the artist, and digital's just faster.
Maybe I just miss Kev, and maybe he's even still doing art, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Remember when Magic had that card called Invoke Prejudice?
Oof,
Where it had like a guy in
Yeah.
like a pointed hood with an axe, and I think you used it to destroy all creatures that didn't match your color.
No, I think it was a counterspell enchantment. It was like an enchantment that like countered things.
I think I think it maybe was a counter, but regardless, it had what looked suspiciously like a KKK member.
Yeah,
it was called Invoke Prejudice.
I don't like their banning cards based off of that sort of stuff. But if they're gonna pick any card, it had to be that one.
Yeah.
I feel like some of the other stuff I'm not so sure about, but if you're gonna ban that, that's the classic troubling card.
It's like, come on, guys! Like, how did it get that far? Like, I mean, they could have modified the name before it was released to the public, and it would have been fine. Or just not have a KKK dude on the front.
Wait, I think, Eric, did you send...
This was 1994, Greg.
What?
This was Magic.
No,
yeah.
I guess it
should have been
blue.
better.
It could have been.
It says this card does not meet Magic community standards. We can view it anyway. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. If opponent casts a summon spell that does not match the color of one of the creatures under your control, that spell is countered unless its caster pays an additional X, where X is the casting cost of the... So that's brutal. Yeah, they were not subtle with that. They were not subtle.
Yeah, that's not subtle.
Yeah. So, unboxing.
Yeah, okay, we'll get back into that.
Clock.
Yeah, so the Magic the Gathering's been, one might say, a dumpster fire for a while. At least in terms of like controversy and stuff like that. I think
guess when anything
the game's
gets
still
popular.
good though, and the art's mostly good.
Yeah, when anything gets popular, it's gonna take 20 years before they decide that a card called Invoke Prejudice with a KKK on the front is probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
Now, to play devil's advocate, I'm going to a little bit.
Do it.
Like think of like the Redemptionists, right? Like their motif is that very similar outfit, but they both have the same roots, I guess.
And they're all about
Catholic.
invoking prejudice.
Well, I mean, like the uniforms and stuff in Europe, some of the Catholic Church.
Yeah. I mean that is I mean, I don't remember what that hooded hat thing is called, which that I feel in itself is all right. But I guess this was just the perfect combination of things. Are you still talking, Brad?
No.
Oh, but you're still here.
Yeah.
But you're right.
I'm letting you talk.
Well, hell, because Games Workshop had that one newer Necromunda executioner guy that had that similar head, and then they decided not to sell it.
Yeah.
For that reason.
He
so
also
they're
had nooses around his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But you're right. Like the Redemptionists kind of like pushing imagery.
But their inspiration, I don't feel at all, was the KKK.
No.
And it just has a very similar.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the unboxing. So we finally got this commemorative model.
Let's get back to what no one came here for.
Also, we also have this librarian model, which I don't think I'm ever going to open this.
On here?
I mean,
come on.
Wait, I guess we can open it, but I don't
That's
have
what the fans want to see.
Yeah, if people in chat, if they want to see this librarian, we can open it as well. But I almost want to just hide it away.
Bathicky, do you want this model?
Yeah. Yeah, do you want to?
So admittedly, that might seem somewhat of a punishment.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it. Yeah.
Yeah, Mandarin Shade, you're right. They did start selling that Necromunda model.
They changed the head.
I think he still had the nooses.
I think so. So the box is pretty nice. The model was obviously based off of one of the covers for the Sister of Battle book. I think this was done by Raymond.
If you do perhaps want that model, just send us the message either through Twitch's thing, the private messaging thing, or through like our Instagram account, and
we'll send it your way.
Terminator. Everybody wants it. Bad looking Terminator, right? Okay. Well, yeah. So this was based off of the artwork from one of the editions of the codexes. I think this was done by Raymond Swanland, and he actually does a bunch of magic art and stuff as well. And for a while he did like all of the covers for the different armies,
like the 40K stuff.
Yeah. So let's open this. We have the little color instructions. He has a holstered bolt pistol. That's something. The instructions are fine. There are rules for Oh wait, no, they're just rules for the Sister of Battle squads.
You didn't think they'd actually make special rules for her, did you?
I mean, they made special rules for that other one.
The first one they did?
Yeah, that was based on the Karl Kapinski artwork.
They did?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm pretty certain. Okay.
I think they did. I mean, obviously no one really cared or will use them, but...
Okay. So the bottle is just a single sprue, like they are most of the time now.
Is her hair separate from her head? Like half of it?
Yes. So let's
Okay.
see if we can get it to focus right. So there's like the front of her head and like the front like tassel or whatever you have to slot in.
Hmm.
Where is, oh yeah, here's the little piece for the hair. So this is getting close to some of those old plastic Malifaux sculpts.
Yeah.
Where you had tons of little tiny pieces that made
Yeah,
it
hair
kind of hard to
pieces.
deal with.
Mhm.
But looks pretty good. They do, since it's cut in so many different little pieces, and presumably that was just to prevent, it was to maintain all of the different like detail and not have like undercuts and stuff like that. But
Yeah, nice. I mean, it looks nice. I feel it's
I mean, one thing that's weird, does she really? Yeah, so like for whatever reason, she has like a scenic base that looks okay, and for some reason, part of the base is on fire. I
Does
guess
the
Fire is
artwork
that's.
have
awesome,
fire
Adam.
around her or something?
I think the cover of the book had like fire in the background, which I guess was probably to be similar to the original codex that Blanche had done, where there was fire and stuff and bones.
This sure isn't as iconic as that piece, but
No. But so
it's
the
still
main, I guess the main thing that I would comment on the model is she is holding a full-size bolter in one hand. It, like, I
I
feel
feel
if I
like
ever assemble this model, that is the main thing that would have to change.
even if she's strong enough to hold that, and let's say she is, which presumably she is, the power armor would help, but God, would that be so cumbersome.
Yes. Would be very hard
So
to aim.
cumbersome.
So if you were going to change that to a pistol, would you then modify the holstered pistol as well, or would you leave
Like
it?
just cut
Just
the
cut the
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not exactly certain. Like, I'm of half of mind that I would actually. They actually did a pretty nice job that the holster itself is positioned in such a way that
Hmm.
it wouldn't be that bad to just cut the whole thing off. Like, what I would probably do is, yeah, I'll cut the bolter off and convert a smaller pistol, and then I'll probably trim down this holster to make it such that the pistol could
Well, I
actually
mean,
fit
the
in
bolter
it.
is it's such a nice sculpt, Adam. Maybe you could like put it on her back.
Yeah. I mean, if you just compare the size of the bolter, like, it's as big as her torso. Or bigger, really.
Yeah, so that would have to change. That would have to change. Well, Adam, if you do that conversion, it can go into my little kill team.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Wink, wink.
One thing, I'm not too keen on her pose. Like, this is kind of one of the classic Games Workshop poses where they have like a super wide and braced stance. It's like you would almost never stand like this. So like, it's
Well,
a
maybe if
little
she was
weird.
holding a las cannon in one hand, she would stand
Yeah,
like that.
maybe. But I mean, I will say it's better than some of like. I think in the stream last week we talked about the new Sister of Battle Plastic Squad. One of the sets of legs is just comically bad. How wide the legs are spaced. And this is getting there, but it's not. It's not nearly as bad. Yeah, I don't know. It's a nice sculpt. It's cut in a ton of different pieces, like to the point where, whoa, like we look at her arm. both of her arms are. Let's get it to. Oops. Both of her arms are on a single piece.
That's interesting.
And like all of the fingers are, or most of the fingers are there, but then there's should be somewhere else another piece with like the rest of her hand, which I don't even know where it is. Oh wait, it's it's on the front half of the body. So that's kind of a weird cut, but I think with most of these models now, based on how detailed they are, like they have to put each model into so many different cuts and pieces if they want to maintain if they want to maintain all of the detail that they sculpted in. So yeah, I don't know, it's a nice model. I feel in many regards I might actually convert this model and give her either a smaller bolter or a bolt pistol. And the main reason for that is it would just be really easy to do. Because there's plenty of room to, since she's just holding it in one hand, if I would want to make a smaller bolter with a stock, I could do that. Like there's actually...
Sure, you don't want to give her a storm bolter because it's so cool.
Yeah, there's actually room for a stock based on how her arm is placed. In most of the Games Workshop models, they, particularly the ones holding their firearms with two hands, they're almost never positioned in a natural way to hold a rifle. And that's mainly because none of their weapon, or very few of their weapons, ever have stocks to begin with.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the model looks nice.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, it's nice to see a promotional model that's not just like, you know, a Space Marine.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe sometime in the future, I'll show a converted model, a converted version of this, and maybe I'll make a tutorial for making a smaller Sister Battle bolt pistol or something.
Yeah, to go with the bolter tutorial.
Yeah, and then this model would be a good thing for that. So we'll see. Okay. So I know it sounded as if some people wanted to at least see this Terminator Librarian, Varys, his name is, apparently. This is one of the last, like, normal Space Marine model released. Like, now, pretty much everything's just Primaris.
Yeah.
In Games Workshop's bid and steady progress towards replacing the normal Space Marines entirely, which I'm all for it. At least in terms of the models, because I mean, there's just something, you just can't look at like the Terminator models and not chuckle a little looking at where their arms are placed in reference to the model's head. Like, what the so the only explanation are his arms are somewhere within his breastplate, but it doesn't look like there's even space for that. So yeah, I don't know, it's bad. The Terminators have always been really bad. And
there have been some people trying to convert them and do different stuff with them. There was a recent Terminator conversion that I saw on Instagram. Colonel made it, that used some Terminator parts and some Arvis armor stuff and did a pretty good job of making a Terminator still look like a Terminator, but have more reasonable proportions. Mainly just that his arms weren't attached by his ears.
okay, so the instructions are pretty normal. The model has an interesting scenic base, like sort of reminiscent of the like Space Marine Heroes scenic bases, where they'd have a pretty nicely detailed scenic base where the feet of the model were physically attached. To the base. And so that's done here. It looks pretty good. The only thing that I'm not too keen on is it like there's like a puddle of water with like a skull submerged in it. But that you could pretty easily
At least
shave
the
away
skull's
if you
kind
didn't
of
like it.
small.
Yeah, no, I mean the skull is more human sized. This model is cut in much fewer pieces.
And honestly, it's the sprue is sort of rounded. It almost looks as though it was designed to be
Gundam.
for
Well,
their
Space Marine Series 1.
their heroes.
Well, you know, I
lines for
think it actually
Japan.
was, because you can tell all of the places, the gates where the sprue attached to the model, they're really thin and tiny, just like you'd see on like a model kit from Japan. So like this is actually kind of along the lines of, this is what I would like to see Games Workshop doing like in the future with most of their kits, where just the attachment point is just much smaller, such that when you cut it off, there's just less flashing that you have to remove. Because
that would be
on
nice.
like some of the models, there's just no consistency with each piece. So like you'll cut off a piece and there are just these huge nubs that you have to get rid of. I mean, like if you look at the Bloodthirster here that I was working on, can you see it? Like there's this nub here that, like, it's huge. And yeah, there's just no consistency in it. Depending on the piece can be bad. Yeah, so I almost think, yeah, this model was probably a model that was made for like one of the Space Marine Heroes lines, and it's just they didn't fit it in.
Although it does have a 2020.
It says 2020, yeah.
Hmm.
So
Who
Who
knows?
knows?
Yeah.
But
That
one
is
thing that
kinda
is
crazy.
different about this model from those Space Marine Hero models, those always had 2 head options. This only has 1, but it's really interesting. Its attachment, it has a peg, and you actually slot it into the little iron or the Psychic Hood. The Psychic Hood's actually kind of nice. But
His staff head he has duplicated on his like back.
yeah, it's pretty
Like,
much
it's
the
basically
same.
the same.
There's a book on the one and not the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah,
He's not awesome.
I feel if the anatomy was better, like there wouldn't be anything inherently terrible. But
I mean, I will say how he's holding this staff is super awkward. Like, what the fuck? I mean, I guess he would have to hold it pretty awkwardly.
His wrist is like angled, that odd angled up.
Yeah, it's like he's holding his arm down and then just he angles his wrist up in kind of an unnatural way.
Well, that's like the broken wrist thing that most Space Marines hold their bolters like.
Mm-hmm. I don't
Pretty
know.
cool.
So the model's pretty rough. Like, I don't know what you would want to do. I mean, it is what you do with him. I mean, he has like a little storm bolter mounted on his gauntlet, which is interesting. The storm bolter, it's actually pretty small in the scheme of like storm bolters. It's probably one of the smaller ones that they've made. It's like more similar to what you'd see on like the Grey Knight, at least the old metal Grey Knight Terminators. I forget quite what the plastic Terminators look like. They might have made them a little bigger for those models.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'll be honest.
But I mean, if we compare that Stormbolter to, it's gonna be hard to do, but like the Sister of Battle, it's pretty big. But it is like this storm bolter here. If they had used a storm bolter of this size for like the plastic Sisters of Battle, it would have looked nicer because it's sized in a way that's a little more manageable.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Well, actually, a funny thing, like, let's compare. If we look at like a Primaris Space Marine, they are pretty similar in size. It's just the Terminator has like the Psychic Hood. That's about it. And if we compare that to him to like a Blood Bowl model, look at that. Blood Bowl models are huge if people don't know. They're huge. Well, let's look back at the Primaris model. Like, yeah,
their awesomeness couldn't be contained in a small model.
In a small frame, it just didn't work.
It also couldn't be contained in Primaris armor.
No.
Couldn't.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Okay, so I think we've gotten about as much coverage as we can out of both of these models.
I sent a link for Colonel's conversion thing.
Oh, I can bring that up. Oh yeah, he looks good. Yeah, so he's using their like Primaris Gravis armor legs, right?
Mm-hmm.
That looks good. He's still using like a general Terminator body. He like lowered the arms by like an extreme degree, and it looks much better.
Yeah, it does. He has some other pictures too, showing it next to a Primaris, and also kind of showing that he's supposed to look a little bit like the one Terminator in that 3rd edition 40K cover that Blanche did.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I like that.
Well, I'll be.
You know, I feel that's pretty close. Like, hopefully, in the future, Games Workshop, when they're replacing the Space Marine Terminator line, they with the Primaris Gravis Terminators, hopefully they are some.
They would never.
Yeah, I think they will eventually. They'll do something similar.
Yeah, Bathaki, like all his stuff is great. It's great. Yeah, he was on our stream a little while back. It was fun. It was nice to talk with him. It was like right before Adepticon was canceled. It's like, oh, this is so great. We're gonna be able to meet you. And well, maybe next year. Maybe next year.
Oh yeah, Colonel, he's made a lot of really cool like little battle suits and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he has.
I guess one of these days I'll have to convert a Space Marine Terminator.
One thing, I guess, I mean, partially because kind of like he had intended to teach some classes at Adepticon, but wasn't really able to do that, obviously. But he actually wrote an article for the upcoming 28 magazine, kind of about how he goes about conversions and such. So, I mean, I guess that's something that people can look forward to.
Yeah, no, that'll be nice. And I imagine Adepticon will happen again at one point, so we'll probably meet up. But who knows when it'll be. Like, the pandemic's still going pretty strong here in the US anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
But okay, so we've talked all about that. Is there any interest in talking about anything on the Warhammer community page? I don't think there's a whole lot that's been put up there. Or I wouldn't even know, I haven't looked, but
There's not a whole lot of cool stuff.
there's the Blood Bowl Snotling team.
I guess.
Yep, not a lot of cool stuff.
I guess, as Brad sort of mentioned, I guess it's exciting that this weekend some Necromunda stuff's going up for pre-order, like the Necromunda House of Blades expansion for the Escher is coming out with some of those new models. But most excitingly are the Ogren models are being released. There's a picture on the community site showing kind of them, and it seems that they're releasing them in a box of 6 of them, and then also a box where you just get 2 of them. So it
Yeah.
seems like it's pretty nice.
I'm a little fearful of what the 6-count box is going to cost.
Yeah, because 6 is a bunch.
They're on the community page, are they?
Yeah, well, the thing talking about it was released
next
on
pre-order.
Sunday preview.
Okay.
But I like the one that he doesn't have his one arm is like amputated. It makes me feel like it'd be a good model to convert something for the Red Church or the Church of the Red Athenaeum that we did for the Pilgrim project way back.
Wow,
Seems
I
like it would
don't
be a good.
The Snotlings.
the community page.
The Snotlings. Like I don't like the Snotlings.
No, they're not great.
I mean, they're not terrible, but they're not a Brian Nelson green skin.
No, they're
No.
not.
Brad,
They're not. Well, that's not. When is that ever going to happen again?
it's
Never.
not, but like, I mean, I like the Goblin team for Blood Bowl. Why didn't they do something similar?
Yeah.
Like, or they don't look like the same type of green skin.
Oh, thanks for joining us, Bathy, on the stream. It's been nice chatting with you. Thanks for the subscription, too.
And yeah, like, contact us with an address, whether it's through this or through Instagram.
Yeah,
Or
he contacted me.
all right, so we'll get you that bad model.
Yeah, I was really kind of like interested in trying maybe like doing some Noblars for the Snotling team.
Mm-hmm.
But then they added these little like fungus riders, and I'm not sure the best counts as for them.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's Snotling riding the ball.
The ball of fungus.
Hmm.
That, yeah, sentient fungus.
Actually,
yeah, it's not.
This
the
is
coolest
changing the
thing.
subject a little, but I'll be honest, I had forgotten about those Ogren models. They're pretty cool looking.
They're good.
I like them.
They
Yeah.
had me excited. They had me so excited for Necromunda that I convinced myself to buy the Dark Uprising box.
And
And then
then,
they like never came out.
Yeah, it's happening now, though, Brad.
It's happening now. Getting
I
jazzed
will
up
say the
again.
thing that I don't like, are there really only 2 sets of legs?
I think so.
That's kind
That's
of a
why you can
shame.
buy them in a box of 2.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess.
a bit of a bummer.
I mean, they look nice. None of them are in the overly braced, wide standing pose, so like that's a big win.
It seems like they do have a fair amount of options and things, such that
Yeah, you
It's
can
not
have them
super
missing an
noticeable.
arm. You could have them having both arms.
the
Well, I mean,
choices are endless.
But like, I mean, it's weird. Like the missing the arm, they all have kind of a bionic. They're either missing an arm entirely, or the one arm's like a bionic. So like you can ball and socket on all sorts of stuff. So like, they certainly designed it to be more of like a multi-part thing without
Hmm.
without making it such that you can create really wonky, terrible-looking poses.
Yeah.
Like with a lot of other kits. So, yeah, they're cool. I could see getting 2 of them and doing something with one of them. They're good.
Yep, I'm probably gonna buy a box.
Are you gonna buy the rules for him then? And that the last rulebook, Brad? You could buy
Already
that
did,
too.
man.
Oh, you
Already
did it!
did.
Incredible.
I was excited.
Well, Brad, if I buy some of those Ogrins, I'll probably maybe assemble one. I can give you the other one.
Cool.
Well, now I'm looking at these Snotling models again, and yeah, they're just not... They're okay, but... Most
They
of
don't
them,
have the
like, their
same
poses
charm.
are a little weird. They don't seem very natural at all.
They're just not good.
And they're not really like super football-y either. Like
No, they're not.
No.
the goblins had like the 3-point stance, and like they're really selling it. And
The goblins are great. I really like the
the
goblins.
dark elves, like they kind of look a little more like they got a football kit. And I guess like the snotlings are just kind of shitty little guys, so maybe they don't have
Yeah.
stuff. But
Well, there's the thrower. The ones to look like a thrower.
yeah,
And one's running. And I guess the one with the big sock is to look like the hefty bruiser type thing, right? I guess.
yeah. But I'm pretty sure they're just snotlings, and
Mm-hmm.
there's ones that hop on the fungus.
Yeah. They're
And
not
the stilty
awesome.
guys. Guy on stilts.
They're not awesome or
No.
cool.
Oh, yes, actually, they break in this post. They break down. Yeah, they're just the normal snotlings. The fungus flingers. I don't like that. I like hate that. The fun hoppers. Don't like that.
But they're fun hoppers. Fun. Fun's in the name.
Yeah, and then there's the pump wagon. That's probably the best. But and then they have the trolls. The trolls are pretty nice. Yeah, I don't know. They kind of suck, but
Is what it is.
Yep.
At least they're releasing teams.
no.
Yeah.
It's one team we won't have to buy, so that's good. That's good. So I don't know. What's everyone thinking? Like I think we've largely talked about all the stuff we wanted to in this stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that means it's time to go to bed.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
Well, I guess, yeah, thanks everybody for joining us in the stream tonight. Sorry for some of the issues earlier on in the stream with the audio, like just not being there at all. But yeah, thanks for keying us off into that. So we only went a few minutes before fixing that. But yeah, so thanks again, everybody. It's been fun. Keep on enjoying the hobby. Stay safe in these kind of troubling and trying times. And we will talk to you again soon. And
Yep. See you,
hopefully
everybody.
post some more stuff up on Instagram with what we're working on. But yeah, until then, have fun. Talk to you again soon.